Hi everyone, my name's Jamie Lyons and I'm a Health and Safety Advisor here at Simeon, and welcome to the latest Topical Thursday seminar on mental health and wellbeing during COVID-19. Normally these toolbox talks are held on a Tuesday, but with what's going on in the current climate we thought that we'll engage with you on this subject as soon as we could. This is normally a relatively engaging subject, mental health, but seems we're all sat at home by our laptops. There is a question and answer section at the bottom of the screen. So feel free to post your questions while we go along this presentation. And me and my other panelists will endeavour to answer as many of these questions as we can. So the aim of today's session is to discuss what is meant by the terms mental health and well-being, to understand the different types of mental health conditions that are out there and the treatments associated, how COVID-19 could affect your mental health and your well-being, how to look after your own mental health and your own well-being, and to know how to find your support for mental health conditions. So let's have a look at the meaning of mental health and well-being. The World Health Organization states that mental health is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to her or his community. They've also stated that well-being is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and is not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. There's plenty of possible factors that may contribute to mental health conditions. These can include drugs and alcohol abuse, social isolation, homelessness, bullying, domestic violence, poverty, debt, long-term stress, even unemployment. So how's the COVID-19 pandemic affecting mental health and well-being? The coronavirus outbreak means that life is changing for us all for a while. It may make you feel anxious, stressed, worried, sad, bored, lonely, or frustrated. There's some simple things that you can do to take care of your own mental health and well-being. And it'll help you think clearly and make sure that you're able to look after yourself and those around you that you care about. But what we'll do is we'll discuss these later on in this toolbox talk. There are also many people having positive mental interactions while being isolated. There's people that aren't normally at home spending much more time with their family and loved ones, cooking, baking. If you've got kids, you could be teaching or just generally spending much more quality time with them. You've also got people that wouldn't normally go out and exercise, just getting out and doing a bit. Whether that's walking, running, cycling, or just whatever you enjoy doing really. Me personally, I'm getting out, doing a bit of cycling, a bit of walking, bit of running, just getting out for my permitted hour, and I can only recommend that because it's helping me, helping other people in isolation. So poor mental health in the construction industry has been described as a silent epidemic, highlighting the fact that work-related stress, depression, anxiety is now the most reported workplace health issue in the construction sector. Mental health affects 1 in 4 people, and this can lead to various types of mental health conditions such as anxiety disorders, bipolar, borderline personality disorder, depression, eating disorders, psychosis, post-traumatic stress disorders, schizophrenia, psychoactive disorders, and even self-harm. So let's look at mental health in construction. Mental health is about how we think, feel, behave. Anxiety and depression is the most common mental health problem. They're often a reaction to a difficult life event, such as a bereavement, but they can also be caused by many other work-related issues. In a workforce that's predominantly male, specific risks associated with male mental health need to be considered. Things like the tough guy image that's widespread in the industry and is still very much present. Asking for help and opening up about emotions aren't just things that come naturally to many of us working in the industry. And that's a combination of these factors that results in many of us suffering in silence. The construction lifestyle is undoubtedly both challenging and stressful. Long demanding work hours, working away from home, on sites for weeks at a time, and the lingering unease of the industry, particularly following this COVID-19 epidemic. Here we're going to show you a short 2-minute video put together by the team at Crossrail that shows that simple answers can sometimes hide a difficult reality.
Did you still see him?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oi, oi, Jonesy. Saturday will go down in history. 4-0, mate. Oh, man, I'm still aching from the weekend. I need to swap with the keeper. What'd you get up to?
I spent the last 48 hours staring at a wall. Linda, you know, she's gone and left me. The banks, well, they're moving in on the house, and, you know, my daughter, she barely speaks to me anymore. To be honest with you, mate, I think I'm this close to ending it all.
Hello, Gary. Good weekend?
Yeah, pretty quiet. Just pottering, really.
Yeah. You look pretty exhausted. To be honest, I'm really worried about you, mate. You're not the usual lively Gary we used to having around. You know you can talk to me. I've been there myself a while back. You should come down 30 this week. We're always looking for extra heads.
No.
Go on.
All right, maybe. I suppose you think you got the skills then, yeah?
No, mate. I'm crap. Actually, we're all pretty rubbish. But you know, it's a good laugh.
Yeah, go on then.
Good man. Anyway, 4-0 with Jonesy, right? He's absolutely livid.
Was he?
Nutmegged him twice, and then he just got into a total strop.
Easy done though, right?
Easily done. It'd be great, mate. Put 5 past Jonesy this week, eh?
So let's have a look at the impact on mental health and well-being. Mental health conditions affect different people in different ways, but they all have an impact on the individual and those around them. Let's have a look at the impact on individuals, families and friends, and employers. So let's look at the impact of mental health conditions on individuals. Mental health, like I've already stated, affects 1 in 4 people, but this will no doubt increase with the current circumstance, and this can lead to things such as difficulty in finding employment or maintaining your current employment, lack of sleep. Even me personally, now having a lack of routine, I'm finding it difficult to sleep at night. Worrying about personal health or transferring potential COVID symptoms over to loved ones in your household. Even worrying about things such as money or your current employment if you're being furloughed. Social isolation. So something that we're all currently doing, but once this isolation has been lifted, it may lead to others continuing to isolate from others, loved ones, families, friends. Long-term physical medical conditions such as diabetes, drugs and alcohol dependence, depression, and stress. So what's the impact of mental health conditions on family and friends? Your family and friends may feel that they're to blame for your symptoms or your illness. They may have been to the shops, come down with symptoms related to COVID that they may have passed on to you. The feeling of helplessness or being unable to help with your symptoms. Worry. They're going to be worrying about exactly the same issues as what you're worrying about. Lack of sleep. So exactly the same as previous. If you're having issues sleeping, they're also going to have issues sleeping. Long-term physical conditions. They might get angry, might be unable to cope because of issues that you're also having. If your child's worried or anxious about coronavirus, Young Minds, which is a great charity, have helpful tips for parents on their website. So jot that website down. It'll also be available at the end, so if you miss it, don't worry too much. So what's the impact of poor mental health conditions for employers? You've got a loss of productivity due to an employee absence. That might not necessarily be self-isolating due to COVID symptoms. It might just solely be down to poor mental health. Cost of supporting an employee through mental health. Some employers have mental health first aiders or external run programs that all cost money and time. Lack of concentration from employees, especially with the current situation, people's mindsets are elsewhere. Conflict with other employees. People could be getting stressed while working on site, trying to adapt to new ways of working, especially within a scaffolding environment. Taking longer to complete tasks. So new ways of safe working, such as maintaining 2 meter social distancing, is inevitably going to take longer to complete tasks. You've also got lack of patience with customers, colleagues, or other people such as the public. Let's look at support. There's many different ways mental health conditions are supported, including staying connected with people. Let's think about how you can stay connected and in touch with your friends and family while needing to stay at home. You could try things such as phone calls, video calls, or social media. And that's whether you're connecting with people that you'd normally see, or whether you're connecting with old friends. Talking about your worries. Let's be realistic here. It's normal to feel a bit worried, scared, or helpless during this current situation. And remember that it's okay to share your concerns with others that you trust. And in doing so, it might even help them too. Support and help others. Helping others can also benefit you as well as them. So try and be a little bit more understanding with other people's concerns, worries, or behaviours during this time. Feel prepared. Think through a normal week. How will it be affected and what do you need to do to solve any problems? For example, you might want to talk to your employer to understand your pay situation with regards to furlough. Looking after your body. Our physical health has a big impact on our mental health, and it can be easy to fall into unhealthy patterns that can make you feel worse. So try and eat healthy, drink enough water, exercise, whether that be at home or following the guidance from the government, and let's try not to drink too much alcohol. Stick to the facts. There are plenty of myths floating around social media, so make sure you get your facts from official sources. You could use the government coronavirus service on WhatsApp. This is an automated chat box that covers the most common questions around the coronavirus. So if you write down this number and save it later on and send the message hi, you will get a message menu, and mental health is option 4. But there's also a range of other options on there. You also might want to consider limiting your time on the news or on other social media platforms. Do things that you enjoy. Focus on a favourite hobby or connecting with others. But if you cannot do things that you normally enjoy because you're staying at home, try something new, like hosting a pub quiz. Try to remember that this disruption should only be temporary. Treatment and support. There are different ways mental health conditions are treated and supported in a more formal nature. These include medication. So a lot of doctors are currently doing an online consultation service, and if needed, medication is prescribed to help them manage their health issues. For example, somebody with anxiety could be prescribed a drug to help them relax. Got talking therapies. So these include counselling for specific mental health conditions. These can be held online or via a phone call. Electroconvulsive therapies. So this is where a doctor uses an electrical current to pass through the brain. So this type of therapy works on the chemical balance inside the brain, and it's used for more specific mental health conditions. Complementary therapies. So using treatments such as acupuncture, aromatherapies, herbal medicines, yoga. We've also got support services, so support from your GP. Again, your GP can be someone to talk to. It can be somebody that can refer you to a particular person or a service, and they can review your treatment to see if it's having a positive effect. Community mental health teams. They can provide support during a crisis for patients with a more complex or long-term mental health problem, and they work with the patient to improve their condition. A patient is usually referred to them by a GP, given an emergency number to call in the event of a crisis. Samaritans. So this is just one of a varied amount of charities that can help with mental health, and Samaritans offer a telephone service that provide an emotional support 24 hours a day. A list of other support services will be given at the end of this Toolbox talk. We've also got the emergency services. So in the event of an emergency, such as self-harm or somebody threatening suicide, you can call them and they will come out and assist if need be. And they can also provide the police if any more assistance is needed. So where to seek advice from specialist organisations. Advice is available from a variety of specialist organisations and charities. Some of them are listed on your page now. I'll hold this slide here for if any of you want to jot these down. This Toolbox talk will also be put out on our social media platforms for if any of you want to share this content with friends, families, colleagues, or if you just want to recap on any of the previous advice pages. So who have we got here? We've got NHS Mental Health and Wellbeing. We've got Samaritans, Rethink Mental Illness, Mind, Time to Change, Campaign Against Living Miserably. While we're on Calm, some of the guys and girls at Simeon, including myself, took part in the 3 Peaks Challenge for these guys, and we raised over £4,600 after one of our colleagues sought to raise awareness after losing his father and stepfather to suicide. We've got some more fundraising ideas coming up for the future, so keep an eye on our fundraising page on our social media platforms, and we can put some ideas out and hopefully get you guys involved as well. We've got Mental Health Foundation, Young Minds, again that's the mental health charity for the younger ones. You've got the gov.uk Coronavirus Information Service, so that's the WhatsApp service that I spoke about previously. We've also got the NASC Safety Guidance 3819, which is available free on their website. It's the guidance for mental health and wellbeing. But for more urgent support, Shout offers a 24/7 crisis text support. That's where you text Shout to 85258, and obviously in a life-threatening emergency, you've got the emergency services. You ask for an ambulance after you've dialed 999. So if we've got any questions, feel free to use the question and answer box at the bottom. If it's more personal, please don't hesitate to reach out to us for a chat. You can find me personally on various social media platforms such as LinkedIn or Facebook, so feel free just to come in and say hi. Again, guys and girls, feel free to follow us on our social media feeds for updates on industry best practice, industry news, and it's also got dates on our next webinar sessions. So you'll find that on our Twitter page, on our Facebook page, LinkedIn and YouTube. You can also find us at www.simeon-risk.com. Thank you, and I will carry on taking your questions. Take care.